Hey everybody, Billy from Billy's Bike Adventures. Thanks for tuning in today. Now if you haven't subscribed to my channel already, you can do, bottom right hand corner, just click on the logo just down there. That'll give you access to all my other videos. If you're watching this on Facebook, go to the description, go to the link in the description, follow that, and then that'll take you to my channel where you can subscribe and get access to all my other videos and stay up to date with new videos that I upload every month. So what am I going to be doing today? Well, today marks the start of quite an important journey for me. I'm going to be heading down to the French Pyrenees this year on my big summer trip. So a mate of mine and I were going to do the Trans-Euro Trail through France, so ferry down to Santander and then right across the French Pyrenees from there, and then up the spine of France back to Calais before we head back home on the ferry. So today I'm going to be showing you the tent that I've bought, how easy it is to set up and some of the technical information, and just give my initial thoughts on the tent before I've actually used it. So if that's of some interest, keep watching and let's get into this review with this tent today. So as I've said, I'm going to show you now how quickly it is to set up the tent that I've actually purchased in preparation for my trip. Now I've purchased the Slumit Inca 1, so one-man tent, and it's a very quick frame setup. So that's the reason I purchased this, is purely based on how quickly it is to set up, excuse me, with the secondary point being that it's actually quite a very light tent for travel. So to make this a bit interesting, I've got my iPhone, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to time it and show you how quickly it is to set up. So I'm going to take my microphone off so I'm not tripping over any wires, and then I'll come back to you and I'll set the timer going, and we'll try and get it set up as quickly as we can. So as you can see, the base of the tent is set up and the frame of the tent is done as well. What's not happened is that I haven't yet secured the tent down, but if you're in a rainstorm and it's not too windy, you could in theory just get the tent set up and get out of the rain until it's stopped, and then pin your tent down with some guide ropes. But that took 2 minutes and 8 seconds. So very quick setup for the basic frame, and I think it's actually really good. Very, very easy, very, very quick. Let me now show you inside and show you what it's like. So that's me now in the tent, and hopefully dry from the elements in the French Pyrenees. Now, the good thing about this tent is that it's really, really quick and easy to set up. All I need to do now is put some guide ropes down to secure it if it was really windy. But if it wasn't windy and it was torrential rain, you could set this tent up very, very quickly, a couple of minutes, and get in out of the rain. Only disadvantage of this tent that I wish I'd known before I purchased it is that I'm actually 6'2", and when I lie down, my feet are at the end and my head is at the top end. So there's not really much room for manoeuvre in here. There's a little bit of room for some of the kit or your helmet, etc. There's a little bit of room to the entrance outside as well, undercover, I might add. But apart from that, there's not going to be much room. Now, I appreciate that this is a tent built for travel, and I wanted a light one and something that's quick and easy to set up. But yeah, 6'2", and there's going to be no room for play in terms of the length of the tent. So by the time I add my giant loop bag in here and use that as a pillow, potentially, I'm going to be squashed and cramped for room. Having said that, all I need it for is sleeping and to keep me dry. So if that's what it does for me, then it's done a good job. So let's get into some of the technical aspects now of this tent. So let me talk a little bit more about some of the techie stuff to the Slumit Inca one-man tent. Now the first point, I think the most important point for me, is that this tent can be set up within 2 minutes. You saw how quickly it was to set up outside. Granted, that is not securing the tent with guy ropes and guy poles, but if it's absolutely chucking it down with rain and you just want to get into a dry place as quickly as possible, this tent can be set up within a couple of minutes and you can be in a nice dry place out of the rain until the storm is over. That's the greatest benefit, I think, to this particular tent. It's got an all-in-one dual skin it's an all-in-one dual skin 3-season tent, and it has aluminium poles. So for my US friends, aluminum poles, but aluminium poles that are easy fold and easy to put away and fit within the bag, obviously. Now the other big thing is that it has a ripstop outer rainy, so quite tough material for the outside part of the tent. Waterproof to 5,000 millimeters hydrostatic head. Jargon busting time. So hydrostatic head, and how is it measured? So if we took a piece of material of the tent, said material, and we placed a glass column or a cylinder on top of that material with a hollow bottom, the measure on the side was 10,000 at the top, 800 at the bottom. Now that is the range of hydrostatic head. And what you would do, you would start to fill this cylinder, glass cylinder, plastic cylinder, with water. And your hydrostatic head measurement is the point at which the water started to penetrate and come through the material of your tent. So the Slumit Inca 1 has a 5,000 millimeters of water rating, which is pretty good. So that is what hydrostatic head is. It tells you how waterproof your tent is. Right, okay, so we have now hydrostatic head busted for you, so I hope that's helped in helping you to choose which tent you're actually going to use now that you know what hydrostatic head is. For those of you that didn't know, I didn't know before, so it's great that I've done the research to now understand what hydrostatic head is. So I'm quite happy that I've got quite a good waterproof tent. Now the other good thing about this is that it's got taped sealed seams of the tent, so there's no good in having a relatively good waterproof rating in terms of hydrostatic head and not to have your seams taped and sealed. There'd be no point in that at all. It would be a leaky tent. So the fact that the seams are taped and sealed as well is really good, so that's going to stop water coming in. The other nice thing about this is that the ground sheet that's built into the tent is bathtub, so the edges come up before you have a seam where it attaches to the top part of the tent. Now the reason that is important is because the seams are not down at floor level where water could come in, even though if it was sealed. So the ground sheet comes along and then it comes up before it actually attaches to the top part of the tent. So that's what it means by bathtub ground sheet. So making sure that it's completely waterproof at the bottom layer, so any water rush coming under the tent is not going to get in by any seams that are down at ground level. So all in all, I'm really happy with the tent. The one downside that I can only see so far is that inside it's quite compact. As I said, I'm 6'2", and when I lie down in the tent, I've got about an inch gap between the tent and my head, with my feet touching the back end. So that's going to be the only one issue that I have. By the time I put some kit in there as well, and potentially my giant loop bag or equivalent as a pillow, I'm going to be really stuck for space. But as I say, it's only there for me to sleep in, so it's a means to an end, and I'll be able to give a much better review of how the tent performed for me whilst I was away. So that's it for my initial review on the Slumit Inca 1 tent. I've got no affiliation with Slumit. I bought this tent myself out of my own money, so I'll be giving a frank, honest review of how the tent performed when I come back from the French Pyrenees. I will be testing the tent and all my other kit I'm going to be taking, including the bike, here in the UK prior to going. So stay tuned for when that weekend is going to be. It'd be great if you're in the local area. Come along, have a ride with us for half a day, or even the whole weekend. It'd be awesome to have you along. It'd be good to have a beer with you overnight as well. So keep watching for updates of which weekend that will be, and we'll be testing all of our kit. Thank you very much for all the comments on my other videos on the channel so far. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. It'd be great to have you to be part of the Billy's Bike Adventures community. Just click on the logo down there, the bottom right hand corner if you're watching on YouTube, and that'll subscribe you to my channel, give you access to all the other videos. If you're watching on Facebook, go to the link in the description part of this video and click that. That'll take you through to my channel where you can subscribe and you will get access to all the other videos. So for now, thank you very much for watching and engaging with me. Keep the questions and the comments coming. I'll respond as quickly as I can, as I always do. Much appreciated for all of your support, and I will see you again very, very soon.